Hello everybody. Um, Today I'm going to show you how to create, actually how to set up a buttonhole on your home machine. A lot of them pretty much work the same way, even if they are a home machine, they pretty much sew the same way. Okay, industrials are a little bit different. If you have maybe a Singer slant, some of the more fancy machines, they'll give you more shapes, but most of them are pretty much like this. Before we start, what you need to do is you need to figure out how big the buttonhole should be. Now the way we do that, here we have a button in a buttonhole. First thing we'll do is we'll measure the size of the button. Okay. So we're going to measure, let's see, this button about a centimeter. It's about a centimeter big, or 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so we have that in mind. Now the buttonhole will be about 1.5 times the size of the button. So 1.5 times 1 centimeter would be 1 centimeter and a half. Okay. Or if you're using inches, it'll be a little less than 5/8 of an inch. Okay. So now we have the size of our buttonhole. Now, that might seem strange. Why is the buttonhole much, much bigger than the actual button? I'm going to explain that to you right now. Now, after you figure out the size of your buttonhole, you will need to make markings on your fabric. Sometimes I use this water-soluble marking pencil. It's great because you'll make the markings of where you want the button, and then when water or steam, maybe you'll iron it with a steam iron or whatever, when that comes into contact with it, the markings disappear. And these come in different colors, but I even use it for lighter fabric. So this is what's happening with the machine. Once you make your marking, okay, and let's pretend this is 1.5 times the size of your buttonhole, the machine will make a zigzag stitch, a reinforcement stitch at the top. Then it'll do the right side of the button, or left side, whichever this is, and then at the end it'll do another zigzag reinforcement. Then it'll do a zigzag stitch to the other side. And then right in the center here is where you're going to make the hole for the button. Now, the reinforcements take up a lot of room, okay, at either end. So this already is, the inside is already less than 1.5 times, but you need the reinforcements so that the fabric won't unravel, fray, or whatever, and you can go through washings and it stays intact. Now, once the buttonhole is created, or the button is the buttonhole, you need to open it. Now you can use a seam ripper, but what I do is I only make a small hole right here, right along here, or even here, it doesn't really matter, but I do not go the whole way with the seam ripper because you run the risk of going over, as it's cutting, going over and then ruining your garment. So what I do is I make a small hole here, okay, and then I use something like a snippet. You can use large scissors if you want to, but I find these have a little bit more control, and then I cut up, and I make sure that I do not cut these reinforcement endings. So you'll find that you'll have enough space for the button, but it'll also be tight enough so that the button won't come out. Okay, so that is your setup. Now you can watch video number 2 and we'll show you how to go forward and get buttonholes like this. Okay? Thanks for watching.